What's up guys, welcome back to Mixed Up, where we mix down tracks on Logic Pro X, and today I'm going to show you how I make any vocals stand out on any 2-track. Let's go. So creating space to get your vocals to sit into your mix or sit above your mix. It's an issue that I've come across many times. I'm sure you guys have as well. There's a few fixes, there's a few different ways of fixing it. An effective one that I use a lot when it comes to dealing with 2 tracks, that's when you don't have the beat stems. Obviously beat stems are preferred, but if you are limited and you only have access to the 2-track, it can seem kind of like impossible to create space, especially if it's limited and there's no headroom and there's a lot going on, especially in the mid-range. So a technique that I like to use is to simply create a pocket within that mid-range where I can allow my vocals to sit in, where the like prominence or the clarity of the vocalist sits at. The first thing we're going to do is have a look at where the clarity is in the vocal that I have up. I have a session up here, it's a song by Flames and it's a tune called Kit Kat. It's out now. I will leave the link in the description, you can check that out. I mixed it, it's a few years old now, but I thought it was a good opportunity. I actually did have the beat stems and I mixed it with beat stems, but for the purpose of this tutorial I'm going to be showing you it with the 2-track that we have here. So we'll have a look at this section, which is the verse section. I'll just give this a play and let you guys have a listen.
Free bro, I just got his email. Fez my previous letter, so I can't go in detail. I can make G's on my Gmail or through illegal retail, but that's kind of hot.
So as you can see, I mean, it's standing out quite nicely, but when that 808 and the vocals all hit at once, you do sort of lose a bit of power. So we're going to just try and create a pocket within that, as we were saying, to help the vocals sit on top of the beat or sit within the beat. Whatever way you're struggling, this is going to help in both manner. So we'll pull up an EQ on the vocal. Let's just pull up a new one. For the sake of this, we're going to be using the Pro Q3. We're going to use the Pro Q3 for the whole tutorial. And let's just have a listen.
Let me talk about females. My brows need chocolate or went for a garmo and she backs it.
And then we can like grab a cue and just like pull up, and then when you run it across the frequencies, and then when you hear that clarity popping out of the vocal, that's where you know you need to be sitting. So
if she's an avocado, that free bro, I just got his email. Fez my previous letter, so I can't go in detail. I can make G's on my Gmail or through illegal retail, but that's kind of hot.
So you can see there, as we get to that 3K mark, big wide swoop obviously, that's where the vocal and the clarity, and you can really start to hear the words that he's saying are popping through. So that being highlighted, we know that we're going to have to be looking at this section of the frequency, but we're not going to do anything with the vocal because we've already mixed our vocal. It sounds really nice. We don't want to have to do anything more to it. We just want to try and help it sit in the beat a bit more. So we're going to pull up our 2-track here. Haven't got anything on it, just a BPM counter, just to find the BPM, and then an EQ that isn't doing anything really other than this tiny little cut. I don't even know what that is for, but we'll get rid of that. And we will pull up another Pro Q3. Now the technique that I'm talking about today is called mid-side EQ, and I use it a lot on different separate beat stems, and basically it enables us to cut either the mids, so just the center part of it, or the side. So you can only do this technique if the file that you're editing is stereo and it has a stereo field. For this particular instance, we're going to be cutting out the mids and then boosting the sides. We basically are creating a pocket of space where the vocal needs to sit in and where the clarity of the vocal is, a pocket of space where we've cut out the middle and pushed it on the sides. So we've moved the beat from the center to the sides so that we're not losing any presence or any feeling from the beat. We're just making that section of the frequency in the beat a bit wider, clearing up a bit of space in the middle for the vocal to sit in, because obviously the vocal is mono and it's going to be sitting in the center. So let's have a look here. So we've got our Pro Q3.
Free bro, I just got his email.
And we're going to grab
my previous letter.
That same, it doesn't need to be exact, but around that frequency point that we picked, about 3K, and we're going to pull down with our Q, let's say 3 dB. It doesn't need to be a massive amount. You can sort of like play with it with your own music, and we're going to come down to here where it says stereo, click this and click mid, and then now that's changed this Q just to taking out the center. Everything mono in the file is being removed at this point by 3 dB.
Free bro, I just got his email.
Which is going to allow our vocals to then sit on top, but we don't want to like lose too much of that part of the frequency in the beat either. So what I tend to do is create another cue above that, come to where it says mid here and change it to sides and boost by 3 dB. And now basically we've created a nice opening for the vocal to sit in at that pocket.
Free bro, I just got his email. Fez my previous letter, so I can't.
And I can show you an extreme version of this. So if we really open it up, you'll hear everything comes a lot wider. Take out all the mids. And now it's all the sides, as you can hear. And if we just come back in into a less extreme version of what we're trying to create, and we're just creating a nice pocket for our vocal to sit in. Playing around with that technique, it should allow you to open up certain pockets. Obviously, every track is different, every vocal is different, so you do have to highlight the frequencies where the clarity is in the vocal, which can be easy as long as you just spend a bit of time with it, pull up an EQ, highlight that pocket, and then take note of that frequency, and then add a mid-side EQ technique, just like I've shown you today, to the 2-track, and you should find yourself with much more space and openness to allow your vocal to sit in or on top of the beat, whatever you're trying to achieve for that particular mix. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been Mixed by Jocelin, and you've been watching Mixed Up, where we mix down tracks on Logic Pro X. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Safe.